Who are these people?
Tell you something, brother!
Who are these people?
Notice me, senpai. Notice me.
Don't be rude.
Who are these people?
Don't be rude. All right.
Don't be rude.
This episode of Pro Wrestling Talk. It's officially my birthday because today's August 31st. But yeah, my name is Angel Rivera, and this is my co-host, Mrs.Witchy Perfect. It is my birthday. Thank you for joining us in this episode 26 of Pro Wrestling Talk. We'll be reviewing two pay-per-views that happened this weekend, or one happened last weekend and one happened today, but I digress, so technically it's not this weekend, but yeah.
We knew what you meant. We knew exactly what you meant.
Yes, so thank you for joining us. Happy birthday to me again, and how you doing
Happy
tonight?
birthday.
Thank you.
Good. I was watching the pay-per-view while getting ready for, a shower. And unfortunately, I couldn't watch Peacock and then be on X at the same time because my phone is weird like that. So, but I have some very good things and interesting things to say, although I can't really voice it. But otherwise, I am very, very good.
Good to hear.
Have to enunciate.
I'm good. Thank you, Kishore, for the birthday wish. I'm 38 today, or 11:45. I turned 38, but I digress. I'm 38.
I was born in the morning, so
Yeah.
8:45.
I was 15 minutes away from September 1st, which would have been
you just
tomorrow.
couldn't wait that long, huh? You just couldn't wait.
So that'd be August 31st. So I'm fine with that. So, yeah, I'm 38 today in a few hours. So tonight. So thank you very much for joining us. We'll be reviewing both pay-per-views, All In, and then we'll do Bash in Berlin, which I watched in its entirety, except for the women's tag title match.
Yeah, I went to the bathroom.
I was shaving.
I was at work doing my register or closing the register for the weekend because, we won't be open on Monday.
Yeah, it's a holiday. I was going to say Memorial Day until I realized, no, it's Labor Day. So
a few months too late, but yes.
Yeah, so I've had I've had some of this today, so bear with me
Uh-oh.
if I'm, you
He's
know,
gonna be tipsy topsy turvy.
if I screw up.
I
Hmm.
had water, so if I screw up, eh.
Thank you, CBC.
Hey,
Greatly
CBC.
appreciate. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. So I guess we'll start with Sunday's All In, and then I'll go through this quickly because I watched a couple of the matches on X. Because of course these marks post some matches on X, so I don't have to pay
Of
for it.
course.
So I watched a few of the matches. Not all of them, but I watched a few of these bouts, and they all. But so I'm gonna start with some of the pre-show matches because it's very interesting. So we have the first pre-show match. Tommy Billington, who's Dynamite Kid's son,
I thought it was his
uh,
nephew.
or his nephew. Is it? I thought he had kids.
Yeah, I
Tommy
don't know.
Billington isn't it his son?
Look it up.
See, again, it's like I know he had kids, but I don't know whether
Hmm.
that's his son or it says Billington. Hmm. Bear with us 1 second.
Yeah, we're gonna look this
Uh,
up. We have to
uh,
have facts for the fans.
Tommy Billington passed away in 2018. I know that his dad, new Dynamite Kid. Bear with us 1 second because we gotta get this right. He has 3 children. Uh, Doesn't say his children's name. Hold on. Early days, blah, blah, blah. Health problems. Championships. He's won a shit ton of them. Not his son or his nephew, but divorced from his first wife, Michelle.
Yeah,
Sister of Bret Hart.
right, Bret Hart's wife.
Uh, He had 1 son and 2 daughters. Merrick Brown and Amaris. It has to be a son. He has 1 son, even though it doesn't say his name here. Or it does, but it says Merrick. So I'm assuming that's his son. Even though I could be wrong, could be his nephew, but it says Tommy Billington here. So I'm
Mhm.
going to assume it's his son. Tommy Billington, Kip Sabian, Rocky Romero, Kyle Fletcher, Leo Rush, Action Andretti, and Top Flight. With Don Callis, defeated Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh, Anthony Agogo, Araya Davari,
Go
Private
go a
Party,
bobo.
the Dark Order by pinfall. So it's a 16-man tag team match to the first pre-show match. Oh my god.
Let's just put everybody together and see who wins.
So they
Jeez.
defeated Tommy Billington's team defeated these other jabronis. Who cares? 11 minutes 35 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know what
So
to
the reason
say.
why
Just
because it's Tommy Billington, I'm assuming it's Dynamite Kid's boy, so that's why I wanted to say it.
mm,
And the second match, Willow Nightingale and Tomohiro Ishii defeated Chris
Ishii.
Statlander and Stokely Hathaway by pinfall. Again, Ishii is the baked potato that Jim Cornette talks about. So he
Nope.
does like a baked potato now. If you look at him, look at his physique.
He
So it's a
so does
perfect,
actually.
yeah. And the third pre-show match, the Von Erichs, Marshall Von Erich and Voss Von Erich, Sammy Guevara and
Get out.
Kata,
Wait, are these the
Kata,
sons of somebody?
they're the
Maybe
sons
Kevin?
of they're sons of Kevin Von Erich.
Get out. Are you serious?
Yes, they're both in AEW. Yeah.
The only living Von Erich.
Mm-hmm.
He has both his
Kevin,
sons in AEWs.
Marshall Von
Get him
Erich,
out. Get him out.
and Ross Von Erich with Sammy Guevara, Kazuhiro Shibata, and Dustin Rhodes with Kevin Von Erich defeated Undisputed Kingdom and Cage of Agony in 11 minutes and 10 seconds.
Well,
So, again, I wanted to mention this because it's the Von Erichs and they're the 2 sons of the only living Von Erich, which is Kevin, the oldest, and
right.
defeating Undisputed Kingdom. And I'm glad they won because,
I'm
you
glad
know,
they won too.
uh-huh,
Good for the Von Erichs.
uh-huh.
Please don't end up like your uncles,
Um,
especially Carrie. Poor Carrie.
I think Indy mentioned this. He was a fan of the Von Erichs, so That's why I wanted to mention it too. I don't
Oh,
know
I
whether
love
he's
Kerry Von Erich. I thought he was a great athlete, especially his matches with Mr. Perfect.
yeah. I know Indy's a fan. Was a fan of Von Erich's, which is why. The problem is I can't. His schedule's kind of tough to have on, but I would love to pick his brain about the Von Erichs. If I'm pretty sure he
Right?
did talk about that he's a
I
fan of the
think on
Von
Kit's show.
Erichs.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Indy, if you ever do hear this, please come on our show when you have time.
hmm His
Y-
schedule is kind of tough to make it, but yeah, the only living Von Erich, his two boys defeated, and Dustin Rhodes defeated Undisputed Kingdom and Cage of Agony
That's
in a
right.
ten
Dustin's
man
still in AEW.
in a 10-man tag team match. It's like, oh yeah, let's just stick the Von Erichs with the natural Dustin Rhodes. By the way, they're the trios tag team Ring of Honor trios tag titles for no reason. Just put the belts on them.
Well, you
A
have.
meaningless.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was
It's
just
a
gonna say
meaningless belt,
it's
but
it's they're sticking. At least they're sticking the second generation with the third generations, and of course Kevin is second. So.
mm-hmm. Yeah, it's third generation and second because the Von Erichs, the patriarch being Fritz Von Erich,
Mhm.
and Kevin's the only one left of the original brothers, but
Hard to believe.
unfortunately, they all either self-deleted or they all self-deleted, right? I don't think
Uh,
anyone. No, the
no,
other one,
David
David.
passed from a heart condition.
Yes, he
Yes,
was in Japan, and he unfortunately passed
that was
because
such a shame.
yeah, in Japan because David is supposed to
Mhm.
become NWA champion.
Yes, sir.
He
He
was supposed
was.
to
Yep.
defeat Ric Flair, but
Yes.
instead he passed, and Kerry defeated Ric
I
Flair
mean, it
instead.
was like really so suddenly. I
Yeah.
mean, imagine if he had lived. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
how much of a great superstar he probably would be today,
Oh yeah,
or
I
would
mean,
have been like a
I
legend. You know what I
I
mean?
went back and watched David and Von Erichs and WCCW, and
Hmm.
was it WCCW? Yeah, I think that's what it's
Probably
called.
whatever the Texas
Uh,
territory was.
World Class Championship Wrestling is called. So WCCW. Yeah, I went back. I think Kevin was the best at all of them, even better than Kerry. Even though Kerry was the most recognizable because he went
Hmm.
WWF and
Hmm.
became the Texas Tornado. But yeah, I think not Kevin, David was the best out of all of them. And I think Kevin would agree with that too. The oldest.
Definitely, yeah.
Mhm.
Um, the thing is, Carrie, he's such a gentle person. I can't tell you how many wrestlers were like, dude, he'd give you the shirt off his back, but he just
Oh yeah,
was
Kerry.
heavily into the substance abuse.
Mhm.
Which did you know he had a prosthetic foot?
Yes, we talked about this before,
Oh,
and
we did talk
I
about
didn't
this.
know that until very recently, though. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
he worked the match with Kurt Hennig with a prosthetic foot, and it was amazing in
it was
WWF. I'm like,
amazing. I'm looking at
yeah,
it going, now show me the prosthetic foot. Which one?
yeah. I mean, I love that match. I went back and watched it. It's like he really had a prosthetic foot.
Doesn't look like it, does
Like,
it?
how the hell did he work that match with a prosthetic foot and be amazing? Like, that's how good of a worker Kerry was.
Right, right.
All
And
right.
Kurt really respected him.
Mm-hmm.
I know that him and Carrie had really good chemistry. And I mean, he made Carrie look like $1,000,000. Carrie made him look like $1,000,000. It just clicked. I mean, they were both second generation. So, I mean, it's kind of like Kurt and Brett
Mm-hmm.
had a lot of chemistry.
Oh, I love their matches, especially the SummerSlam match where Kurt put him over for the Intercontinental, which Brett appreciated because hell, he didn't have
Oh
to
my
do that.
God. Oh,
He didn't have
yeah.
to do that because his back was bad. He could have just said,
Hmm.
"I'm gonna stay home, let Brett just win it from some other jabroni, and that's it." But
Oh,
he
yeah.
put
And
him over strong.
he put him over strong.
Yeah.
And that's how much respect Kurt had for Brett.
Mm-hmm.
And how much respect Brett had for Kurt too. Kurt talks very highly about Brett, very highly about him, and with Brett talks just as much respect and very highly of Kurt. That they were
Yeah.
always joking and always having fun in the ring, even though nobody knew it.
Yeah. Oh, Brett and Owen were the two best of the Hart brothers.
definitely.
Brett Known, the only one that made it to WWF, but I think Bruce was kind of jealous of them because he never really made it to WWF. But
Well, and then
wasn't Bruce the
Gary
oldest?
too. I
Bruce
don't know who
and
the oldest was.
yeah, I would have to look it up. But I know Brett wasn't the oldest. But
I think
I know.
Diana was the oldest girl, and she married the British Bulldog.
And Brett put over a British Bulldog in Wembley.
Yes, he
did
did.
it. He did it, and Brett told the story that I couldn't get a hold of Davey Boy for weeks leading up to SummerSlam '92. It was like I had this match in my head, which is the match he did at SummerSlam '92, which was fantastic. Which is all Brett. I mean, he like, hey, I gotta get a hold of Davey Boy. Where's Davey Boy? He called his sister Diana. He's like, I don't know where the hell he's at. He's on one of his drug binges. He's like, shit,
Oh,
I gotta get a
no.
hold of Davey Boy. And he literally like called the match in the ring because Davey Boy forgot it. He's like, I'm fucked, Brett. I'm fucked. He told Brett, tells us, I'm fucked. Like, shit.
That's exactly what what he said in the back when the Montreal screw job happened, or the Montreal double cross, we should call it what it is.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, they fucked him.
They fucked him.
They fucked him. They fucked Brett.
Within 30 seconds, Davey Boy told Brett, I'm fucked, Brett. I don't remember anything. He's like, shit. He called the match in the ring because Brett knew the match from beginning to end.
Yeah, beginning to end.
Because Brett came up, he told the story. I was in a tanning salon and I pictured the match in my head entirely. And it was fantastic. I mean, this is Bret Hart we're talking about. So he put together the match and Davey Boy just followed him. And it was great. And, you know, that led Brett to being a main eventer because he told Vince the story, hey, put us on last. We'll put together, like, yeah, well, show me. And he did it, you know, and that's why Brett ended up with the WWF title from Ric Flair later that year. But I digress, you know, we're reviewing this pay-per-view. The opening match of the pay-per-view, we had no entrances, random guys in the ring for no reason. Literally. It was a 4-way London ladder match for the AEW World Trios Championship.
Can we not have ladders in one stinking match?
Yeah, and that's the way Tony booked it. It's AEW World Trios Championship, so a 6-man tag team title. Pac and Blackpool Combat Club, Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta defeated the Patriarchy, Christian Cage, Killswitch, and Nick Wayne. With Mother Wayne, Bang Bang Gang, and the House of Black.
The House of Black.
I didn't see this match, so I don't have an opinion. Pac and Blackpool Combat Club became the AEW Trios World Champions. I don't. You know, I mean, I'm confused. I didn't see this match. I don't have an opinion on it.
Yeah, I don't watch them.
I saw a couple
AEW.
of these matches, but because they were on X, so I happened to watch them. But so yeah, they're the Trios World Champions. Whatever. The next match, Mariah May defeated Toni Storm for the Women's World Title.
I think Jim Cornette talked about this, and he said it was just shit. All of it's just shit. They're just trying to put, you know, matches together that they think are real.
Mariah May slapped her mother for no reason. Literally, I'm sure they talked about this, but
yeah,
randomly Mariah May slapped her mother. Like, that's supposed to make her like this horrible heel. Problem is, just 4 weeks ago, she was kissing Toni Storm in a lesbian angle, and for no reason. They're bipolar. All of a sudden, she's a dastardly heel that slaps her own mother for no reason. So yeah, I'm not like, oh my god, how dare she slap her own mother? I'm like, why? Why do you slap your own mother in that situation? You wouldn't do that. It's like,
no. Well, yeah, I would because my mom abused me, but
well, I mean, you know, most
of us wouldn't, slap our parents.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you get my point, but
it'd be like me slapping my dad. I would never slap my dad.
Yeah, you know,
because my dad would slap me back a lot harder.
Yeah, I
No,
mean,
you just don't do that stuff. I mean, it
yeah,
doesn't. It's like bad storytelling. We can't tell
yeah.
the difference. What are you trying to? What story are you trying to get across here, Tony Khan? Because we're confused,
Mm-hmm.
dazed and confused, and it isn't getting any better.
Mm-hmm. It was just like, what? She slapped her own mother. Why? Because she's supposed to be heel? Like,
Because you
yeah,
have to guess. That's Tony Khan's thing. You
yeah.
have to guess.
But 3 weeks ago, she was kissing Tony Storm in a lesbian angle, and now she's not only she's that they're horrible enemies, but she's slapping her own mother. Like, where did that come from? They're all bipolar. I'm bipolar. I take medication for that, but I wouldn't slap my own mother. It just makes no sense.
Your
So
guess is as good as mine because
yeah,
that's what Tony Khan
so
wants.
Mariah May is the AEW Women's Champion. She cut a horrible promo on Dynamite, but it was
Hmm.
terrible.
That's why the
But
Dynamite things went like this. The
uh-huh.
ratings went like this. I'm like nosedive, you know,
This shit promo. All
and
right,
that's
well,
why.
the next match, Hook defeated Chris Jericho to become the FTW champion again. So yeah, that's it. This is the belt where Taz, his dad,
Hmm.
this is his belt
Okay.
because Taz had a hissy fit in ECW because he couldn't be world champion. So Paul Heyman just said, "Okay, you can be the FTW champion instead." This is Taz's belt.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally his belt, and Tony Khan is like, "Oh no, this is a real belt," that we defend in AEW. Bullshit. It's Taz's belt because Taz had a hissy fit because he couldn't be world champion in ECW.
Wow.
That's the truth. And his son, his boy Hook is obviously gonna eventually be the champion and have that belt for no reason, because it's not a world title. It's a meaningless belt that his dad was allowed to carry by Paul Heyman because he couldn't be world champion.
Right.
But I digress. I mean, Hook defeated Chris Jericho, which doesn't
Well,
help Hook because it's a meaningless belt.
I was hoping that Hook would see the light and go to WWE or at least NXT. Go to NXT, put some meat on them bones, and look like a real wrestler, and then be like your dad, but not in ECW.
Hmm.
Because you don't want to bitch about that. Because Triple H will be like, "Oh, too bad, so sad, bye bye."
I mean, Taz was Paul Heyman. Taz was like 5'6" and 200 pounds,
Yeah.
but Paul
Hmm.
Heyman made him seem like a badass. That's how good of a booker
True.
Paul Heyman was. It's like
And he
I
really
believe
was a
Taz.
badass, really. I
Yeah,
mean, look at all them muscles he had.
yeah.
And then, he was like from Brooklyn. I'm a
He's
badass. Look
from
at
the Red
me.
Hook section of Brooklyn, New York. It's like
Right.
everybody. I believe Taz. This is back in
Yep.
the '90s. I as a teenager I was bigger than Taz, but you know. But I believe that he can kick my ass because look at all the muscles he had.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
shorter than me.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I completely agree.
Mm.
This is shitty television. And like I said, I was holding out hope. Unfortunately, I'm left to want to ponder why. Why would you stay with,
Well,
AEW?
I don't know what his contract situation is. I'm sure if given the opportunity, he would. Taz is calling up guys in WWE that he knows, like, hey, take my son because I'm gonna make money from Tony no matter what. I'm a legend, but shit, I mean, my
Right.
son needs to, build up his reputation, and the best
Right.
place to do it in WWE, not in AEW. All
Right.
right, so the next match is a three-way tag team match for the AEW World Tag Team title. The Young
Wait, a triple
Bucks
threat match?
defeated is a three-way
Did you say a triple threat
tag team
match?
match.
Oh, tag team match. I'm sorry.
It's a
Onward.
three-way tag team match for the AEW World Tag
I
Team
thought you
title.
said a triple threat match. I went, wait, what?
Mm-mm. So the Young
Tag
Bucks
team?
defeated FTR and the Acclaimed for the AEW World Tag Team title. So the
That's
Young
what I
Bucks
think.
keep their belts. Of course, I'm sure they have creative control, so there's no way they're dropping these belts to
Right.
FTR or the Acclaimed because they're the two main competitors in the tag team division. So I'm sure they told Tony Khan, well, we're not putting over any of these two fuckers, so it's any of these two teams, so fuck them. We're going to win, and
Yeah.
we're going to do it in 12 minutes and 5 seconds. We're not going to spend too much time in the ring.
That was
So
way too much time anyway.
uh-huh. The next match on the card is a Casino Gauntlet match for a future AEW World Championship match. Christian Cage defeated Kyle O'Reilly. So Christian Cage has the contract for a future AEW World Title match, which is their equivalent to Money in the Bank, basically. So Christian, a 50-something
Okay.
year old wrestler, is probably going to be AEW World Champion at some point. And then Edge will come back and challenge him for the world title and win the world title. That's my prediction of what will happen.
No. I know, but this pisses me off. Chris Jericho needs to retire. And then Christian Cage needs to retire. I mean, at least Edge had not Edge, Adam Copeland had enough sense to break his ankle or leg. He broke his leg.
Yeah, he
Oh, for
broke his
heaven's sake,
leg
just break your
jumping
leg.
off the top of the cage. Like he act like he's Jimmy Snuka. But Jimmy Snuka didn't botch the move and, actually properly did it. Like he slashed the cage.
I'm sorry, I missed the appeal of Christian Cage at this point.
Christian
He
Cage
wasn't relevant much in WWE.
Well,
Not to me, he wasn't.
Christian was always second fiddle to Edge. Edge was a
Right.
star.
Right.
And Christian left to go to TNA and became world champion there. Came back to WWE. He was second fiddle to Edge again. And then left for AEW. And Edge followed him there. And again, he's second fiddle to Edge. But Edge is not there, which is why he won this Casino Gauntlet match, which is their Money in the Bank. Because I'm sure if Edge was there, he probably would have won it. So he'd be the one going over, not Christian. But in this match, randomly, Ricochet debuted in this match in AEW.
Okay.
So the former WWE superstar who liked to do all those flip flops for no reason in WWE debuted in AEW. In this match, in the middle, for no reason, did a few flip flop moves and disappeared, while Christian Cage wins the match. That's how they debut Ricochet, by the way. So, congratulations, Ricochet. You made a shit ton of money, but you're going to be the same mid-carder you were in WWE. So,
even less relevant.
Yeah.
At this point.
Exactly. He's less relevant. Yeah. Because he's in AEW. He's not in WWE, so you'd be less relevant. And God bless. I'm sure he's
if that's what you want to do.
He's stealing money from Tony Khan at this point, but God bless, He probably has a multi-million-dollar salary, while he's probably be relegated to Collision or Rampage. But God bless, you haven't paid, so I don't care.
I guess take him for all he has. That's what the elites are doing at this point.
Yeah. The Omega has diverticulitis, so he's gone while Tony Khan's still paying him. Again, he's sick. Diverticulitis is a legitimate sickness. I'm not saying he's gone for no reason.
No, I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying, okay, if you want to pay these, you technically, if a guy is legit hurt, okay, or legit sick, you should pay him. But
Brock Lesnar nearly died from diverticulitis.
Yeah,
but Brock Lesnar is a beast. He came back he's like this. He's a 285 pounds of a badass. But Kenny Omega is no badass, so that's
no. And I like what Jim Cornette always called him: Twinkle Toes McFinger Bang.
Yeah. So Omega is no fucking Brock Lesnar, but
no, not even close. And I really didn't even like Brock Lesnar, but but yeah, if you have a legitimate disease, because remember, guys, these guys are contractors. They don't, when you miss work, you don't get paid. No. So I do kind of feel for them, but at the same time, I'm like, they're taking Tony Khan for everything that he's got. So that can be a good and a bad thing. It's like a double-edged sword.
It's good for them personally because their bank accounts are great, but when it comes to their legacies in wrestling, it's like, I guarantee you, I can go right now outside here and ask my mother who is Omega, Kenny Omega, who the fuck he is.
Yeah, no.
because she's a wrestling fan, but she's a WWE fan.
Mhm.
If I put on AEW, she'll watch it. But it's like, who the fuck are these people? It's like, I don't give a shit.
And why are they flipping around like that?
Yeah.
But if you talk to her and say, you know who Brock Lesnar is, she'd be like,
Yo,
of
she
course I
knows
know who the
exactly what
Beast
Brock
is.
is.
Yeah.
In fact, she was a fan of Brock Lesnar until he's gone. He just hasn't come back in over a year. But it's like literally because when he was a baby face, he was the cowboy. He had the cowboy hat on. And
Yep.
he was smile. And my mom was like, "Oh, he's the cowboy." I love Brock Lesnar. But and she doesn't give a shit about Brock Lesnar. Having a urination fetish. She's like, I don't give a fuck. I love Brock Lesnar. I liked him as a cowboy. He's a babyface.
Yeah.
He didn't give a shit about the lawsuit. Whatever. It's like, when is Brock coming back? It's like, I don't know. I mean, he's still under contract WWE, but I don't know when he's coming back.
Yeah, nobody knows at this point. It's kind of like still up in the air.
So that's
Whatever
why
Triple H decides, I
he
suppose.
keeps asking me when he's coming back. I don't know. I mean, I'm not the booker. But yeah, I mean, I digress. But the next
Whatever
match,
Triple H forgives him, I suppose.
yeah, he's still under contract. So I think he wasn't fired, but still, I mean, he's up in Canada, on his property, on hunting bull or whatever the hell he's doing up there. But the next match, Will Ospreay defeated MJF to become the international champion again. And again, I
At least
have
you
to
didn't
say it slowly.
Intercontinental.
I almost said Intercontinental, but I say it slowly. So Will Ospreay gets his little belt back for no reason.
Well, yeah,
Even
they
though
were talking about, they were making fun of the fact that he was, because I guess MJF was kind of making fun of him. Now he's kind of, in that British accent, kind of making fun of him on Jim Cornette.
Yeah, I mean, I saw this match, and it was the standard Will Ospreay match. Excuse me. It was just the same flippy.
Beer burp.
Yeah, the same old flippy floppy Will Ospreay match, and MJF tried to do his stuff, even though MJF is not as athletic as Ospreay. It's just the same bullshit.
Yeah,
it just wasn't good, and I don't know why people think. Sorry, just
no, it's okay.
and just it's popping up on me, but yeah, I mean. Yeah, I mean, this their first match, a 60-minute match they had a few weeks ago on Dynamite, wasn't good, and this match wasn't good either. I mean, it was like, hey, Will Ospreay did the Tiger Driver 96, whatever that move was, which hurt Bryan Danielson. He
Of
finally
course.
did it, and it's like, yeah, I mean, it hurt Bryan Danielson legitimately, but. Yeah, he finally did the move and beat MJF to win the Orange Cassidy belt, which is the belt he held for a while.
Yeah.
Which is the Orange Cassidy belt. That's why I call it, because ultimately, I mean, that was the belt he held for a long time. Yay!
Oh, I keep hitting my microphone. Slow clap. As Dee said yesterday.
Yeah, it was awful. That was
Yeah,
a shit
that's
match.
why I don't watch that shit.
I watched that match because everybody was 5-star match of the year, blah 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 blah. I watched it. I'm like, really? This is a 5-star match?
Dear God,
that Dave Meltzer never gave a 5-star match to Kurt Angle, and
or
you
Kurt
may not
Hennig.
like Kurt Angle, but he had plenty of 5-star matches.
I'm sure.
But
Bret
yeah,
did too. Bret Hart.
yeah.
He never gave any 5
he
stars
never
to Bret.
gave Bret Hart a 5-star match. And that annoys me too, because Bret Hart was way better than Will Ospreay or Kenny Omega ever dreamed
or MGF or
MJF.
any of these clowns that they call wrestlers on AEW. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And then I'm like, you know what? Why do I care about what Dave Meltzer thinks about my favorite wrestlers? I wouldn't give a shit. Bret Hart doesn't give a shit. In fact, I think Bret Hart would just eviscerate Dave Meltzer. Like, he's an idiot. Because Bret Hart, I love how he doesn't give zero fucks about what people thinks of him. To this
Well,
day, he hates Bill Goldberg, even though Goldberg's
right.
like, I'm
And
so
people are like,
sorry.
"Oh, he's still bitter." Even
Yeah,
Goldberg's like,
I
"Oh,
would be
he's still
bitter
bitter."
too.
I'll be
I'm
bitter too, bitch. You fucked
shit.
me up.
Yeah,
I
he
couldn't
ended my
wrestle
career
anymore.
10 years too early. Yeah.
Yeah. How would
I'd
you
be
like it if
bitter
I did that
too.
shit to you? You'd be bitter too.
I'd be bitter too. My career is over after what? 10 years too early for no reason because WCW didn't train Goldberg properly? I mean, come on.
Right.
That's their fault, not mine, not Bret Hart's. I
Yeah.
don't blame them
Yeah.
being bitter.
And it's just so remarkable to see all these marks come out. Oh well, Goldberg tried to help him. Go fuck yourself.
Gold, Goldberg barely apologized. He's like,
I
"Oh
don't. Did
yeah,
he
I'm
ever
sorry."
apologize? I don't think he ever apologized.
Well, he apologized publicly, but never called Bret Hart personally to apologize.
Oh.
He did. What was it? Dark Side of the Ring or the Death of
Was it Dark Side of the
WCW?
Ring?
Whatever, that documentary on Vice. He's like, "Well, I'm sorry," but he never called Bret personally to apologize or whatever. If I ended a wrestler's career, I'd be calling them. It's like, look, I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. Blah blah blah. I'm so
Then why didn't
fucking
you?
sorry. He
You're gonna
never
talk
called
about
Bret
it, but you never did
personally.
it. Yeah, I'd
The
be bitter
fucker
too.
Goldberg never called him personally, even if he's bitter. It's like if I ended a wrestler's career like that, I'd be calling every dude. So fucking sorry. I don't know what happened. It's like I'm not sure you remember Draws,
Yes.
that wrestler who would puke all the time.
Yeah,
D'Lo
he was
Brown,
called Puke.
yeah,
That was his
D'Lo
name.
Brown suplexed her from the top rope and landed on his head and broke his neck. And
Oh
D'Lo
my gosh.
Brown called him all the time, and they had a relationship because D'Lo Brown felt so bad about it. He would call him all the time. He was like, "Dude, I'm so sorry. I don't know what the fuck happened." And he's like, "Don't worry about it, man. I don't know what the fuck happened either. It's not your fault. Shit happens. It's wrestling." That's the difference. D'Lo Brown actually called him, and like, "Look, I
Right, and
apologize,
personally
man.
apologized.
Yeah, I'm
Didn't
so sorry,
Rick
man."
Steiner do the same thing with Buff Bagwell?
I think he did.
Yeah,
I'm
I think
sure
he
that
did.
Rick, he broke his neck too.
Yeah, because you can see it. His head snaps back,
Yeah, he did this. It's like
and you're like, "Ooh, please don't show that again."
yeah. I'm so sorry.
Hey, Earl.
D'Lo Brown had a relationship with Dross until
Hmm.
Dross passed away recently. But yeah, D'Lo to this day feels terrible about it. It's like, I don't know what the fuck happened, man. I did a suplex up the top rope and I've done it a million times and haven't hurt anybody. So I don't know what happened.
Right.
It's like, look, I get it. It's wrestling. Shit
Yeah,
happens.
I mean, yeah, it's a freak occurrence, but I mean,
Mm-hmm.
at least personally apologize to Brett,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
especially because he said, "Watch out for the kick." Okay, but
And
Brett
Brett
didn't
was like,
expect you
"What
to
kick?"
kick him right in the head.
It's like, wait, what kick? What the fuck are you talking about?
Hmm.
And then Goldberg mule kick him for real right in his
Right, for
fucking head.
real.
It's like, I didn't know what the fuck he did. I mean, I don't watch his matches. He sucks. So Brett didn't ever really watch his matches. So it's like, mule, what kick? Like, what are you talking about, dude?
Same
And
thing
of
Kurt
course,
said, he was hurting people, and unfortunately, fortunately for Goldberg, but I mean, when Kurt said when Goldberg speared him the first time, well, it knocked the wind out of Kurt, and nothing does that.
well, thank you, Earl. Happy, appreciate it. And yeah, man, I'm like, hey, look, when I get why people like Goldberg back in the late '90s, but I hated him ever since he ended Brett's career too early. It's like, look, dude, you kicked him in the head for real and never
Mhm.
apologized.
Right.
Look, shit happens in the ring. I get it. You end the guy's career. It sucks. But be a man. Like, I'm so sorry, Brett. I didn't mean to do it. It's fine.
Hmm.
But he never apologized. And then he's arrogantly like, well, I didn't mean to do it. It's like, I know he didn't mean to do it. I'm sure he didn't mean to do it, but you suck. That's why you did it. It's not like he
And
was.
and he shouldn't have gotten that push either. That was just bullshit. I mean, people were tired of him.
It was Brad Siegel. It was Bischoff. Bischoff
Yeah.
gave him the push, and then Brad Siegel was like, Goldberg played football for the Atlanta Falcons in the NFL, so he's like, oh yeah, give him this push. He was a real football player, a real athlete, so we gotta give him this push because he's a real athlete. Even though he sucked in the ring and he was hurting guys. He hurt Kurt Hennig, I'm sure. I mean, you talked about that, but
Yeah, he literally knocked the wind out of him.
yeah, he was hurting guys. But yeah, he's a real athlete, so give him the push, even though he sucks as a wrestler and he shouldn't have been in the ring. But he literally had 6 weeks in the power plant and acting like, and they like, oh yeah, now he's ready. Put him, just throw him out there. I loved when William Regal embarrassed him, even
Oh
though he
yeah,
says he didn't mean to do it supposedly, but it was like, come on, dude, just admit it. It's been 30 years. Like, yeah, I embarrassed him. He wasn't good. William Regal ran circles around him, even though he was high. Like literally, he was on drugs when he did it. He
Oh
still
yeah,
embarrassed
yeah,
him.
he was high.
Yeah, he still embarrassed him. Imagine William Regal was sober, what he'd do to him.
Oh my god. I'd probably be like,
Yeah, Goldberg would have. And
is
William
that all
Regal
the
had.
matches?
No, there's a few more,
Oh
but
dang it.
we kind of, when
Skewed.
we skewed away into Goldberg and Bret Hart and Regal. But all right, the next match, Mercedes Moné defeated Britt Baker for the TBS title. Apparently, this match really sucked. I didn't watch this match, but I heard Jim Cornette's review and he hated this match, so I'm gonna
Yeah,
trust his
he totally
opinion.
hated all these matches. He doesn't understand a damn thing why they're doing this. Nothing fucking makes sense.
Uh
And rightfully so. I mean, Jim Cornette is on top of it. I like the little thing he did about Dave Schroeder from
huh.
PW Insider. Like,
Yeah.
apparently Dave Schroeder is a total dickweed and was saying bad things about Brian Last. And just the tirade that Jimmy Cornette goes on, I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Mercedes Moan defeated Britt Baker for the TBS title. And I did see the entrances, and Britt Baker had that boo boo job face, and her like, oh, I gotta put this bitch over. She wasn't happy. You can tell in her face, and she did put her over, but it was a shit finish and a shit match. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, no.
Mercedes Moan is still the champion. Whatever. All right, the next match, Jungle Jack Perry defeated Darby Allin in a coffin match for the TNT title.
I mean, is anyone
And
really surprised? They're both
no,
shit.
Jungle Jackoff won, and then after the match, they were gonna put the casket on fire, kind of like Kane did to the Undertaker 30 years ago. But Kane and Undertaker were actually over,
Yeah, these
so
two
that was a
jokers are
big deal.
not. That's
They're
why I
not
want.
over. But before Jungle Jackoff put the coffin on fire, Sting comes out and beats up all three, the Young Bucks and Jungle Jackoff for no reason. He came out with his baseball bat and beat them all up.
Sting retired.
Yeah,
That
allegedly
means
he
Sting, you
retired.
leave. You don't come back. You leave. When you
Sting
retire, you
retired.
leave. You don't
Sting
come back to a
retired,
fucking job after you retired for 30 years.
and then he comes back, and Jungle Jackoff hits him with a chair. No sells it, by the way. He turns around, like doesn't even sell it, even for a second, with a chair. And Jungle Jackoff leaves, and leaves the Young Bucks to get beat up by Sting. And then Sting hits his finish on both of the Young Bucks, and they, go down. They sell it, and Sting looks like $1,000,000, even though he's 65 years old, by the way, at least.
I
And the
mean, I
Young
didn't
Bucks
even
are
like
selling
him
for
when
him.
he was during that Crow period. I hated him then. I hated him in the 90s, and I
Uh-huh.
hate him now. Look, Sting, you don't get this retirement thing. I guess you don't understand what that's all about. So when you're at a company for 30 years or 40 years and then you leave, or you're in a
Sting,
business, let's say you're in a business. You're in a business for 40 years and you leave. Say you're retiring, you're not going to come back. You don't come back. The point of retirement is you leave and you never come back because you're too fucking old.
Yeah, but Sting. But I'm sure Tony Khan is calling him every five minutes, like, "Hey Sting, can you make this shot for us? We'll give you $1 million." So I don't know what the hell he's paying him, but make this
No, he
shot for
probably
us in
is.
London. It's like, okay, I'll make the shot. You give $1 million, I'll make the shot. I'll no sell for the Young Bucks and Jack Perry,
Yeah,
and I'll beat them all up by myself for no reason and not put anybody over and give me $1 million. Great, absolutely, man. I mean, Sting's
just
in
like
a
he used to do with the NWO. Remember when he would no sell the NWO and
yeah.
then beat them all up one by one? I hated that shit when it
Mm-hmm.
was, prime time. Oh, come on, Sting, go fuck yourself. I was like, there's no way you got about 8 guys coming after you. You're going to no sell and you're going to beat them up one by one. Take them all out. What the fuck?
Yeah, yeah, but Sting was in '97. He was over.
I know he's over, even though he really sucked back
even though
then.
Hulk, even though Hulk kind of ruined that with Starrcade '97, but we can go over that in another episode. But Hogan took 90% of the match and beat him up and pinned him 1, 2, 3. Even though we can say, well, I mean that's bullshit, but I was never a fan of Sting either, so that's why I'm like,
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for all you Sting fans out there,
mhm.
but Sting sucked in my eyes. I couldn't get the Crow period, and I hated the Crow period. I never wanted someone more in my life to stay mute than Sting. I'm like, why didn't you just stay mute?
Sting Sting and Ultimate Warrior were a tag team starting off in the territories. They
Yeah, I
were
know.
the what were they called? The Blade Runners, what the fuck they were called? They were bodybuilders and got into wrestling. They happened to get into wrestling because they were making no money as bodybuilders. They were the
Yeah,
Blade
something
Runners,
like
right?
that.
In WCCW, they started
Something
off as
like
Blade
that.
Runners,
Yeah.
and then he was in Warrior became the Dingo Warrior, and Vince was like, "What the hell's a Dingo
Yeah,
Warrior?"
what the hell's a dingo warrior? I was asking that same question myself. What the
Yeah,
hell's a dingo warrior? I'd never even
and
fucking heard of that.
and Vince was
Everyone in
like,
Australia
"Let's."
is like, what?
Yeah, and Vince was like, "Well, fuck it, let's make him the Ultimate Warrior, pal. He's the Ultimate Warrior now." And he got and Vince did his Jedi mind trick and got him over for like 2 years.
Yeah, you are the ultimate warrior
hmm
now.
hmm
All the wrestling fans will love the ultimate warrior.
And then we
It
did,
sure since.
we did, I did at least.
I didn't. I liked Mr. Perfect. I'm sorry. I always went for the heels. That's why we'll talk about this match, but even during like the oh, okay. Sorry.
No,
Even
go
during
ahead.
like the rock and wrestling and stuff, when Kurt became Mr. Perfect and he felt good in his skin and you
Yeah,
know what I mean, he came out as Mr. Perfect. Um that was like in 1991, and they
yeah.
had him against the Ultimate Warrior, and I just remember thinking, damn, Warrior looks really good. That was because of Kurt
Mm,
jumping around and getting
yeah.
his comeuppance as a heel. So that's what
Kurt
made
look
me fall in love with Kurt
Warrior.
when he was with Carrie.
Yeah. I can't say that I love wrestling, but I like you guys. You're both nuts in a good way. Bad crazy, so that's a compliment. Thank you all. I mean, shit. I mean, we're trying to entertain the audience. Even though I'm sure most of the people who watch us don't really like wrestling and INN, but I mean, God, that's what we're trying to do here.
Yep.
All right. So the main event of the evening, Bryan Danielson defeated Swerve Strickland for the AEW World Title,
Right.
and
And if Danielson lost, he was never going to
yeah,
wrestle again.
it's a title versus career match
So
for no reason, randomly. Because even though I watched this match and this match was great, to be fair
hmm
to both of these guys, I mean,
Okay.
Bryan Danielson put this match together, I'm sure, and it's fantastic.
Okay.
However, outside of this,
Yeah.
the build up and everything surrounding this match made no fucking sense whatsoever. Because Bryan Danielson didn't give a shit about the AEW World Title. He never had an AEW World Title match. Didn't try to go for it. Didn't do anything to try to become AEW World Champion. And all of a sudden, for no reason, randomly, he puts his career on the line in order to become AEW World Champion. I'm sorry. Why the fuck would I care when you wouldn't
Would
give
you
zero
care?
fucks of becoming AEW World Champion until now? Imagine if I imagine if I were building this up, I would have Danielson
Okay.
lose, become AEW World Champion at least 3 times, have him lose over and over again, become
Mm-hmm.
AEW World Champion until this match in London. If that would have happened, I would have bought this pay per view just to see him win the world title because I know he's gonna
Mm-hmm.
win the world title. But instead, it's like, why do I give a fuck? Why would I pay $50 when Bryan Danielson didn't give a fuck about becoming AEW World Champion until
Until
now?
about 5 seconds ago.
Yeah. Again, the video package they showed was great.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. It was like, oh wow, I mean, and then the match itself was great too. Even though Swerve Strickland randomly beat up Bryan Danielson for no reason, made him bleed in front of his
Yeah, he got
family.
color. He got
He
some
got
color.
color in front of his family randomly for no reason. Even though Swerve was a babyface 4 weeks ago. He was a babyface world champion 4 years ago. Now, I mean, 4 weeks ago, sorry. And all of a sudden, he's a heel and he's making him bleed in front of his family. His wife and 2 kids that are at ringside.
Oh, they have
He's
2 kids. I
busted
thought they
open
only
and
had a
bleeding.
daughter.
He has a
Okay.
daughter and a son.
A daughter and a son. Okay.
Yeah, and Brie Bella is his wife.
Right, because Nikki Bella just put her husband in jail for domestic abuse.
Yeah. Even though they won't confirm that, but yeah, I mean, Brie Bella, Nikki put her husband in jail for domestic violence, even though they won't say, no, well, technically, Nikki didn't do it, it was the police. It's like, no. Apparently, he beat up Nikki, and
Yeah.
he ended up in jail for it.
Real bad, I heard. Really, really
Yeah,
bad. I mean, it was really bad.
yeah. That's why I'm like, it's just, look, I've never assaulted any woman, but
Not one that you say you love, right?
yeah. No,
Yeah, I love you, honey.
I've never hit a woman, period. But
I love you, honey.
Earl says I'm coming out as Mr. Imperfect. Who wants to beat me?
I'll beat you.
But yeah, Bryan Danielson is the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. He put his career on the line for no reason, which is why I knew
Right.
he would win the world title. Which is why I didn't watch it live because I knew he would win the world title.
Right.
But he wins the world title, and all of a sudden, the next Dynamite, even though I didn't watch it, but I heard about it,
Mm-hmm.
Jungle Jack Perry's #1 contender
Jesus
for the World
Christ.
Heavyweight
Why?
title. He's
Why?
#1 contender for World Heavyweight title. He's 160 pounds soaking wet. I'm 200 pounds. I'm bigger than this fucking guy.
I'm
And
bigger
somehow
than this guy.
he's #1 contender for World Heavyweight title, even though I'm bigger than him. And that's what's worse is you're bigger than him. You said,
Yeah, and I'm a chick.
yeah, and he's #1 contender for the World Heavyweight title, and he's gonna face Bryan Danielson at the pay-per-view, All Out in Chicago. And the only reason why he's facing him in Chicago because of CM Punk. And again, they can't get over CM Punk. And
Why
we'll
he's
get
not
to
even
Bash in Berlin.
in AEW anymore? You
I
guys
know
kicked him out.
they can't get over CM Punk, even though he's he
Oh
can't get
my
over CM Punk,
God.
even though he's gone. He's fucked off from AEW and having great matches with Drew McIntyre. But I digress.
Get
We'll get
over
to that.
CM Punk. Punk's not
Yeah.
in AEW anymore. You
No.
guys kicked him out because he beat up one of your little EVPs.
He beat up Jungle Jack Perry. He kicked his ass. No, he kicked the Elite's ass.
Yeah.
And then he kicked Jungle Jack Perry's ass.
Right.
So he kicked all their asses in the Elite.
Just as he said,
Single-handedly.
he's wrestling with children, or he's
Yeah.
working with children. CM Punk was right.
He beat up all the Elite by himself. I mean,
Yeah, I know. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you.
He beat up the Elite by himself. Like, First, he beat up the Bucks and Omega by himself, and then later he beat up Jungle Jack off at London and All
Which
In.
wasn't really hard, to be honest, because Punk was bigger than all of them put together.
Yeah, especially now in WWE, he's like this. I'm sorry, I kicked my mic, but he's
I
like
keep
this,
hitting
you
my
know.
mic too.
He's like this, you know.
Yeah,
Especially
I
now in
mean,
WWE.
CM Punk looks great.
Oh
Okay.
no, I mean he
Um,
looks fantastic now.
yeah, he looks fantastic. He's, working out more, and he's got that fire in him that he once had. Um, I can't say enough good things about Punk, and I don't even like Punk. I wasn't for anybody really. I mean, I like Drew McIntyre, but I mean, I'm really, really digging CM Punk. And that's not easy for me to say because I'm not for a lot of people. I don't know. I think my man might get me a Cody Rhodes shirt.
I
He asked
mean,
me if I wanted one. I said, yeah, but I don't have any money for one. And he goes, uh-huh. Write that down on the list.
this
I was like,
shirt.
he's gonna get me a Cody Rhodes shirt.
I got this shirt, the Bloodline shirt, because it was on discount. It was
Oh
on
yeah,
sale at the time for like 20 or 15 bucks. So it's the
okay.
original Bloodline shirt with Roman Reigns and the Usos and Paul Heyman on it. But it was on sale at the time, so I was like, yeah, I get the shirt. It's like 10 bucks, so it was on sale at the time. So that's the only reason why I got it. But all
I
right,
mean, it looks
so
great.
yeah, I mean, in fact, I wore it today, and people might. I got my drinks and stuff. A bunch of these, and people are like, "Oh, what a great shirt that is!" Oh, thank you. I mean,
Well, you're
hey,
still coherent, so keep drinking. You're still
well,
coherent. We
thank.
want you like going. Oh yeah, I understand all that.
I can do a show, mostly, drinking this stuff, and Kamala Harris can't do an interview properly, which I talked about yesterday. We talked
Sober.
about yesterday.
And isn't she
Sober.
supposed to be sober?
Yeah, she's supposed to be sober allegedly. Allegedly. But I digress. All right, so
Allegedly.
let's get to Bash in Berlin because we got to go to
Woo!
Rumble
This
real
I
quick.
watched completely,
Because
except for the one
we got to
match.
go to Rumble, so let's do this real quick and
Yes,
then
let's go to
Rumble.
Rumble.
We got to do this first and then go to Rumble. All
Okay.
right, so the opening match on the show was Cody Rhodes, the WWE Champion, versus Kevin Owens, and he beat him by pinfall, which he did.
Yeah.
Which was I thought was a great match, great opener. I mean,
I can't say enough good things about this match. Now, the thing is, they wanted you to feel that emotion. So, when Cody Rhodes couldn't, his right knee, oh no, he went on the top rope and
yeah,
fell down. Oh no, the knee
his
hurts.
knee.
So, oh no, the pain in the knee. And Kevin Owens was like, and backs off. And it's like that because they're friends, right?
Yeah,
Because they're friends and he did eventually hit the knee, but I mean, not like
yeah,
he didn't go after it as bad as he could have.
no,
And again, this goes back to, when you have a babyface versus babyface match, it reminded me of Brett and Kurt
yeah,
at King of the Ring 93 when
yeah,
they had their babyface match. Guys, you still have to remember there still has to be some kind of a heel in there. Even
yeah,
if you have two baby faces, there still has to be a heel in there. So they made Kurt the heel, even though Kurt was still a baby face. But what
yeah,
happened? So when Cody Rhodes won, they hugged. It was emotional. I almost cried, guys. I almost
no,
cried because I mean, you feel that emotion that these two characters are trying to portray. And then, it was just like Kurt getting back into the ring and raising Bret Hart's hand and shaking his hand and being like, you know what? You won. Good luck to you.
yeah,
So that's what I'm saying. Like there could be a second match here, and maybe
yeah,
Owens will come into that killer instinct thing, but and maybe they'll turn him heel. But,
yeah,
but right now, this
because
match was literally reminded me of the Kurt Bret Hart match, Mr. Perfect Bret Hart match at King of the Ring. That
yeah,
emotion
because
that you feel is literally two competitors making you feel that because they entertained you.
throughout this match, when Cody hurt his knee, Kevin was like, no, I shouldn't do this. And then he
Mhm.
finally hit his knee, and then he was going to do his power bomb on the apron and didn't do it either. So
Nope.
he didn't have that killer instinct. And then Wade Barrett on commentary kind of criticized him for it, and he's like, "Shut the hell up, you idiot, Kevin Owens." It's like he pointed at him. And then eventually Cody Rhodes beat him for the world title, and then Kevin Owens shook his hand and raised his hand. But I still have the suspicion that Kevin Owens going to turn heel on him in their
No
next
doubt.
match,
No
because
doubt.
they're gonna have another match. This isn't
Yeah.
over yet. Even though I know Solo Sikoa said he's gonna challenge the winner for the world title again, but I'm sure Kevin Owens gonna be involved somehow and
Mhm.
turn heel on Cody Rhodes at some point because he has to.
Yeah, no doubt.
Kevin Owens is better as a heel than a babyface. I mean, in my opinion, at least. I mean, he's much more better as a heel,
Right.
and I look forward to him being a heel. But yeah, I
Well,
mean,
what happened in '94 with Kurt and Brett is
uh-huh,
Kurt turned heel against Lex Luger, and
hmm
then eventually he would just be a heel again. So the thing is, it just reminded me of the whole King of the Ring '93 match where there was so much respect between these two competitors that they shook hands. Kurt raises Brett's hand and says, "Man, good luck." Shakes his hand.
because
Um,
you,
that was the kind of emotion I felt, and like I said, when you have competitors that are
holy,
friends like this, but they show that emotion that they don't want to hurt their friend because they are friends. I
yeah,
mean, it's like Kurt and Brett. Kurt and Brett didn't want to face each other because they were both baby faces in '93, but yet they had a great match like they always
mhm,
had,
yeah,
and Kurt showed that respect.
but Kurt, that was a great match, and I loved the match, and Cody won as he should have, and then they hugged, and they raised each other's hands, and Kevin did refuse to have his hand raised, and he
Right,
raised Cody's hands instead, and I was
right.
like, okay, well, I mean, I know I still feel like Kevin Owens heel turn at some point. It's just that didn't
Hmm.
happen now, which I thought it would happen. But of course, I
I
mean, I
was
like,
waiting for it. I was
yeah,
waiting for it to
and
happen.
I like Triple
I
H's
do that too.
booking where it didn't happen now. And it's like,
Right.
oh, okay,
Well, he
I
left
mean, there,
room. He left some room
yeah,
so that
yeah,
Owens can eventually turn.
because he's gonna turn at some point. He's a
Oh
better
yeah.
heel than a babyface. But again, that's my personal opinion on that. But yeah, the next match, which by the way, this is the worst place on the card because you're following Cody Rhodes as champion.
Right.
But
I thought they would wait for Cody, like they would do Gunther first and then do Cody at the end, but no, they did Cody first and Gunther at the end.
no, either
Gunther, sorry.
if you're the champion, if you're Cody Rhodes, either you open the show or you end the show. You don't want to be in the
Ah,
middle
okay.
because you these days you open the show, you start hot, you're over, and then the second match, it's like, how do you follow that? You don't follow it.
Well, did you hear the crowd too? I mean, they couldn't literally they were cheering for both men. They're going Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens,
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens. I mean, nobody it was literally a toss up at this point. But it was
hmm
babyface versus babyface. Great drama here, especially with the crowd noise. I
Yeah.
thought it was really loud, really, it was better than AEW where they're sitting there going,
It's
"Are we at a
silent.
wrestling show?"
Even though there was certain part of the show where the fans were reacting, but
Oh
a lot
yeah.
of the time they were silent. It's like they were just sitting there. But Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill defeated the Unholy Union,
Yeah, I
Alba
went to the
Fire
ladies'
and
room.
Isla Dawn to become the women's tag team champions again.
And really, I did see like little snippets, and I just, what the
It's like
hell's the deal with the hair? Like they swing the hair all around. I'm like, are you corralling a
it's
cow or
like
what the fuck?
how do you follow Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens? I mean, if I were them, I'd be kind of frustrated by that. It's like, okay, how do I follow this fucking match? We can't really follow this match.
No, and
So
and
we're kind of we're kind of the bathroom break match, because
oh
that's what
wait,
I did. I shaved during that match because
one thing, go backwards a little bit, rewind.
Mhm.
I have to give my star ratings. So my star
Hmm.
ratings, this is Mrs.Witchy Perfect. I'll get a theme thing like you have for Indy.
Yeah.
Mrs.Witchy Perfect's ratings. Okay. Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. 3 stars. Because it
Solid
literally
opener.
made me want to cry at the
Solid
end.
opener. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was great.
Mhm.
Match number 2, -2 stars. I mean, come on.
I didn't watch it, so
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
it's
I
like
saw clips of it and it
it
was
was fine.
literally, I'm
It
gonna
was
whirl my hair around like a lasso. I'm like, unless you're lassoing a cow, stop it.
I shaved during that match, so I don't really have much
I
of an
went to the
opinion
ladies' room and literally closed out my register at work.
because I didn't watch it.
Right.
I watched the finish where they won back the tag titles, but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really watch it. So yeah, I agree. I'll take your star rating for that match, but
It
they
just
made
was
the right
shit.
call to put the tag titles back on them because
Yes,
eventually it's gonna lead to one-on-one match at WrestleMania. At least that's how I would book it. But Jade
probably,
and
yeah.
Bianca one-on-one at WrestleMania
And now
next
there's a
year
third
in
chick that
Vegas.
was helping Jade and Bianca.
Yeah, the other
Okay,
chick. Now
I
I'm
forgot
forgetting
her
her name.
name.
Blair Davenport or what the fuck her name is? Yeah, her.
Is it?
Um,
I don't know.
yeah, Blair Davenport. I'm pretty sure it's her name.
All right, I wasn't
But
really paying attention.
she wasn't there tonight, but today. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's usually the one who helps them. All right.
Okay.
The next match, CM Punk defeated Drew McIntyre in the strap match.
I give this match 2.9, and I'll tell you why.
Hmm.
They were using tables. Guys, stay away from the announce
Well,
tables. That's getting really old. But otherwise, I love the match. It had a lot of hype. It had a lot of, drama. And I mean, obviously, Punk beat McIntyre and got the bracelet back.
he should have
And
because
he should
Punk
have.
Punk needed his win back from SummerSlam.
Hmm. The only
So he
thing I
got
didn't
his
like
win
is
back.
they do this in every match now. They clear out the announce table and do
Hmm.
moves on the announce table. Guys, stop doing that. It's getting old now. Otherwise, I probably would have given this 3 stars, but 2.9. Still good.
Oh yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, Punk. They put together great. Oh yeah, I mean the whole putting each other through tables and shit. I mean, yeah, I agree. The tables are too much, but it is no DQ, and it needed to be no
Mhm.
DQ because the first match was a regular match.
I mean, he
So,
put him in the sharpshooter, and Drew's going like this. I'm like, you can't submit, you stupid idiot.
and he's tapping out like at least twice. He tapped out.
I love
He's
it.
like,
Oh my God, it's a sharpshooter. What?
mhm.
He must have gotten that from Bret Hart. I thought
Yeah,
of you immediately. I was like, oh
he's
shit. I
tapping out
hope
multiple,
I
at
hope
least
Angel's
twice.
watching this.
I was watching it. I was like, oh come on. Yeah, you can't tap out and
Well, I
have them
mean,
stop.
CM Punk, if I remember correctly, has a lot of respect for Bret Hart, though.
Yeah, I mean
So, I
he's
mean,
a
if he
Bret
said,
Hart
"Hey,
guy.
Bret, can I use the sharpshooter?" and Bret's like, "Go ahead, I don't
Yeah.
care. Make him squeal like a girl," and he's like,
Hmm.
"Tap tap." I'm like, "You idiot!" And then he's like grabbing the ropes, "Get him off
Yeah.
me!" Ref's like,
Yeah.
"There's nothing I can do."
And I can't do anything about that. But
What do you want me to do, dude?
mhm.
No rules.
So eventually at the finish, Punk got his bracelet
His
back, and
bracelet back.
then he touched the turnbuckle. They rang the bell, and Punk won. And
And the
and I
crowd
tweeted out,
went
yeah,
wild.
and I tweeted out, okay, the feud is over, and Punk's gonna move on.
Yep.
He's
Yep.
got
They're
his
gonna.
bracelet back.
And all I kept thinking was maybe Rollins will come back. Maybe they'll do maybe Punk and Rollins or maybe
Well,
Drew and Rollins. But
yeah,
at this time, yeah, the bracelet is now back with CM Punk. And so Drew McIntyre, and then we'll be looking for different opponents.
yeah. I mean, Seth Rollins is gonna face Bronson Reed, who put him out of action.
Put him out of action. Right, right, right.
Yeah, he's the one that hit his finish on him like 6, 7 times.
Damn, because they're having that Intercontinental thing, and I was kind of
That
hoping Branson
tournament, yeah.
Reed and Braun Breaker. Wouldn't that be phenomenal?
Yeah,
Bronson
but
Reed, the beast, because they're doing such great things with him, and then of course they're doing great things with Braun
the only
Breaker.
thing I say is I would have a hard time because you would have to beat Bronson Reed in that because there's no way I wouldn't beat
Okay.
Braun Breaker right now. You
Yeah,
know?
no.
Yeah, so you would have to beat Bronson Reed, and I prefer not to beat him right now either because he's starting to get over as a heel as well. So
Well, put him in some matches with Rollins, and then maybe like for, excuse me, sorry about that. Like maybe Bronson Reed could, kind of work up to it, but work it up to it,
hmm
beat Seth Rollins and his flamboyant collages of clothes. But I mean, I
Seth
would love to see that match. I think that would be a 4-star match at least,
Seth Rollins did a good job of putting over Bronson Reed with
no
the whole,
doubt.
it's like, and then he bled from his mouth. He had internal bleeding. He's in the hospital.
Must have
He
bit
did a good
down
job
on
putting him over. That's why I'm like, I would rather not beat Bronson Reed right now. And then
That's
he
fine.
killed off Braun Strowman. You saw that on Raw
Yeah.
when he did his finish on him on the car and broke all the windows. And like,
Oh my god. I'm like, he's dead.
yeah, that
That's what
was
I
that
thought.
was. They're really putting him over like $1 million, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to beat him, because I don't want him to beat Braun Breaker and become the Intercontinental Champion either, because it's too
No,
soon
I
for
mean Braun is
Braun
such a
Breaker to be
beast.
beat. Yeah,
Such a beast
I don't
and
want to beat him
such
either. So,
yeah.
mm,
So let's have Bronson Reed maybe work up to it. And then maybe
yeah.
like a couple of months from now at WrestleMania. Wouldn't that be a great WrestleMania match?
Oh yeah,
Bronson Reed versus Braun Breaker. Oh my god. They would probably sell out like
yeah.
that.
But I know that John Cena's coming back to do his farewell tour next year.
Yes.
So I'm sure they're gonna want to do John Cena and Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental.
Another great match. John Cena putting over Braun
Yeah,
Breaker
yeah.
because he is having that
Farewell tour next
farewell.
year.
I can't talk, and I'm not the one who's drunk.
No, I mean I almost finished this, and I'm kind of like,
It's just a little. um. Yes, I would like to see John Cena and Braun Breaker, though I think it would be a little unfair because Braun Breaker I think would break him in half. But I mean,
hmm
but I love what they're doing with Braun, or I love what they did with Braun because Braun's he wasn't on the pay per view, and that's a shame. I would have loved to see Braun Breaker on the pay per
he'll be
view.
on the next one. He'll
Don't
be
do
on the next
that.
one. He'll be on Bad Blood in October. I mean,
Good.
because there's no pay per view until October. I don't think I didn't see any at least on the
Okay.
schedule because
Well, No
NXT's
Mercy
having
is NXT.
on Sunday. It's tomorrow night, in fact.
Okay, so that's your September there.
Yeah,
Just
so
just
September
NXT.
1st. Yeah. So tomorrow night is No Mercy, which
Mm.
is gonna my mother's looking forward to that because
Is Alexis King wrestling anybody?
Alexis King, I don't think so.
He
But
can't leave Brian Pillman Jr. off his stuff. Stop doing that.
yeah,
Not you.
they're using him, but he's not. I don't think he's on the card for tomorrow night. Maybe I'm wrong.
Uh,
I have to look it up. But the next match that happened today is the Terror Twins, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, defeated Dirty Dom and Liv Morgan by pinfall.
and technically the whole new Judgment Day because they did
Yeah,
come out. So what happened with this match? I I had to get in the shower.
yeah.
Like as soon as I came home from work, I had to get in the shower. So I actually had to go back and like watch the match again because I missed a lot of it.
Yeah.
So I give it 2.5 stars, and I'll tell you why. Um, so I like the story that they're telling here. What I didn't like is the whole Judgment Day coming out. I mean, guys, I understand it has, to do with the whole new Judgment Day. But guys, this is a mixed tag match. It was between Rhea and between Liv and Dom. And no offense, Liv Morgan, you need to learn new moves, honey.
Oh,
I'm sorry, you need to know how to wrestle because you do not know how to wrestle.
she sucks, but
But I will say this about Rhea Ripley's makeup, phenomenal. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know how to do great eye makeup like Rhea Ripley's makeup artist. If someone can tell me exactly how she does that, please tell me so I can do it because it's phenomenal. But like I said, I had to go back and look. And of course, you know that they eventually the Terror Twins were going to get one over, you know, Dom and Rhea. I said to my man, I said, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if Rey Mysterio shows up. Where is he? Did he officially retire and then like I'm not
no.
coming back? Fuck my son. You know what I mean?
Well, no, I think he was on Raw last week,
Was he?
and he put over Dominic again.
Okay.
He's been putting over his son lately, which is surprising to me. Is like I joked around like he never puts over his son. Like he keeps beating his son every chance he gets. But
Yeah, I missed this past Raw. I'm sorry, I missed it.
oh, I mean, yeah, I happened to be watching it when my mom was watching it, and he's like, "Yeah, he's been putting over his son lately," and I'm like, "Oh wow, he put over his son." I mean,
Well,
Ray's been beating his son like a drum late, and before that,
I forgot to ask my dad to record it. My bad. And
nice.
I was like looking for clips, but then I forgot about that too. But that's good. But I mean, like the thing with Rhea Ripley, it happened as it happened. You knew eventually they were going to have to get over one on the new Judgment Day. So that was kind of like a give me. Oh, I know this is going to happen. So and it did. Um,
I was surprised that the Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley won this match. I figured that the heels would win and they would try to continue this thing,
mm,
but the baby faces won
mm,
decisively, and they beat up the entire Judgment Day by themselves. And I'm like,
yeah.
oh, okay, that's interesting. I wouldn't have booked it that way, but God bless, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess, they wanted the baby faces to go over because I wouldn't put them over like that. I mean, I would at least waited a few months, but whatever. But
Well,
that's just me.
yeah. I mean, I wasn't
I
terribly
thought
upset
that
with it. I just gave it 2.5 because I just don't like Liv Morgan. Get some new girls or
she
new
sucks,
moves.
but
I mean, and really, you could see how like how much of a brittle little girl she is because Rhea had her all like was about to break her in half. I thought I was like, my God, she's gonna break her in
Rhea
half.
Rhea was beating up Dominic Mysterio by herself, no problem.
Right,
Which she
right,
should because Dominic is a chicken shit heel,
right.
so she should beat him up. But that means Liv Morgan had no chance against Rhea, so of course she's gonna get beat.
Mm-hmm.
But she's still the women's world champion, and she has to be. So WWE kind of booked himself into this corner with Liv Morgan as the as the women's champion,
Mm-hmm.
even though she shouldn't be the women's champion. But they booked himself into this corner. So again,
Well,
I
and
I
now it's gonna be
criticize Triple
Rhea
H for that,
versus
but
Liv.
yeah,
And we're gonna have
no,
a return match. And maybe this time Rhea, I doubt they're gonna turn Dom back to go with
no,
Rhea again. But I
no,
mean, at least
no,
I think that she's Liv Morgan's done.
no. They can't turn Dominic back to being Rhea. Even though I'm sure Dominic kind of teased going back to Rhea, but I love you. I'm so sorry, and that chicken shit heel, and
Oh yeah,
she
I
beat
did
him
see
up
that.
anyways. Yeah, she
Like,
beat him
come
up
back, I'll come
anyways. But
back. I'll come
yeah,
back. I love you.
yeah, but now they kind of booked themselves into this corner where Liv Morgan has to be the champion because she has to keep the belt away from Rhea Ripley.
hmm
And eventually Rhea win this belt, and she'll have her run again. But
hmm
all right, well, the main event and only the fifth match of the afternoon Gunther, the world heavyweight champion, defeated Randy Orton by submission. And it actually is technical submission because Randy never tapped out. So he got
Correct.
choked out by the sleeper
Right.
eventually.
Right.
And eventually Gunther shook Randy Orton's hand and
I must have
and
missed that
Randy,
part because I was walking around Walmart trying to. I'm like, come on, boys, let's go. I'm
yeah,
almost done in
Randy
Walmart.
eventually shook hands and Randy put him over. I'm like, oh wow, man,
Okay.
he put him over like he's $1,000,000, which he did. I mean, to his credit, I mean, so it was a great match, but ultimately I was surprised with the shaking of the hands and Randy putting him over like he's the guy, which he is.
Right.
I'm
Right.
not saying that he isn't, but I'm
And
surprised
here's
Randy did
another
that
one
for
where the
him.
crowd was half Randy, half Gunther.
Hmm. Yeah.
I give this match 2.9. Again, they were using the table, the announce table. I mean, Randy Orton was using it like it was a battering ram. And then
Yeah.
he used the steps, the steel steps. He was putting them on the steps. I'm just, oh, come on, Randy. I mean, the greatest thing about this match was literally the fact that they were actually doing holds, like
Hmm.
an arm bar and
Yeah.
a takeover headlock, a
Hmm.
chin lock. They were doing actual moves here.
Yeah.
And I made a comment to my dad while we were at Walmart. I said, "Hey, my God, it's an actual wrestling move." And when they were chopping, I said to my dad, I said, they ain't hitting their legs.
Excuse me.
They ain't slapping their legs. My dad goes, no, why would they do that? Because they did it. I don't
No.
know.
Modern wrestling is full of leg slaps and stuff like that, which I hate. But
But I love the fact that they were actually slapping their
yeah.
chests, each other's chests. And you could feel the emotion from both Gunther and Randy, especially when Randy started going after Gunther's right arm.
Hmm.
I'm guessing he had a lot of issues with that arm or whatever. And you could feel that drama coming off of both competitors. And then
Oh
the Cody Rhodes and the Kevin Owens, they shook hands.
yeah, it was great. I'm playing Zelda, but I enjoyed your conversation in the background. Thanks for hanging out. Happy birthday, Angel. Thank you. I
Hey,
appreciate that,
John,
John.
blessed be.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, this is, as long as you're watching and being in the background, I'm fine with that. But I know not everybody is a wrestling fan or a modern wrestling, but I mean, you know, I appreciate.
But
Gunther
we
is like
always go over the older wrestling too, like the Kevin
which we're
Owens,
gonna
Cody
do in a
Rhodes.
few minutes, but yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna go over the Rumble, but in a few minutes. But yeah, I mean, Gunther, especially him, he can survive. He could have survived in territory days. He's an old
Hmm.
school foreign heel.
Yep.
Like a why am I forgetting? Actually, this is why I'm forgetting. But um,
We have a drunk angel now.
like a Fritz Von Erich or a Iron Sheik or a Nikolai Volkov or a
Volkov, yeah.
those type of foreign heels.
Hmm.
There's so many others. Fritz Von Erich, stuff like that. Even though Fritz was from Texas, but he
Yeah, but
pretended
he
to be a
played.
German.
He
Yeah.
pretended to be a German. Uh,
Hmm.
Nikolai Volkov was a not a Ukrainian, Yugoslavian,
Yeah.
and he played a Russian
Yeah. He
because it's
played
very similar.
Soviet. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was in the Soviet Union.
Hmm.
Yeah. So in
And
Iron
Boris
Sheik.
Zukov. I don't know if
Yeah.
Boris Zukov was Russian, but he played one.
Why am I forgetting his name? He's Luna Bashan's father. What was his
Mad
name?
Dog Vachon.
Mad Dog. Yeah, he was a heel too, foreign heel as well. He was in AWA, and they were telling stories. Mad Dog was Sean. And
I
Mad
don't know.
Dog.
I don't know if I would want Mad Dog in a plane with me. Have you ever heard this story where he was hanging
Yes,
out of a plane?
he was in AWA, and
Yeah.
Um,
Greg Gagne.
Greg Gagne, thank you. He was telling this story about how Mad Dog was hanging out of a plane, like,
Like,
well, I'm so hot. I need to open this, and he opened the door, and he's like, I'm so fucking hot. He had beer, and he had
Quaaludes,
Quaaludes and shit like that. He was like,
wine. He
yeah,
had
wine.
wine
He
with
was
his
so
fiance's parents.
drunk. He was drunk and high that he was like, oh yeah, I'm hot, man.
They had other miscellaneous pills in there too.
Oh yeah, Bad Dog was insane, but at the same time, I would have been like, yeah, he's a heel, and let's put him in the main event, even though he's fucking insane. But as long as I'm not in a plane with him, I'm good. So,
Yeah, he might open the door.
uh-huh. Because
Shut the
he would
door, Mad
open,
Dog. Shut the door.
yeah, he would open the fucking door like he's fucking insane.
The
All right,
captain of that plane was not so happy. He's like,
no,
they had to strap him down. They had literally had to tie
yeah,
him to the seat.
they had to tie him down because they were like, hey, tie this motherfucker down because we're gonna crash his
He
fucking
was
plane.
crazy. He was crazy.
Yeah.
He was a crazy dude. I wouldn't want to
Uh-huh.
fuck with him. You couldn't pay me enough. But go ahead, get in the ring with him. No, you get in the ring with him. I'll be over here breathing
Yeah.
air.
Yeah. So we're gonna go to Rumble in a few minutes. So if you don't go over the Rumble, the links are in the description box below. So go over to my Rumble and INN's Rumble and stuff like that because we haven't really discussed Sid passing away on Monday.
And I still have to sing happy birthday to my host.
Yeah, so we'll get to that in a moment, but let me
Ah,
get off of YouTube
ah.
here real quick. Go back. Here we go. All right, so start going to Rumble now because those links are in the description box below. Uh, okay. So we're gonna go over to Rumble exclusively in a minute. So okay, but yeah, I'm like Sid unfortunately did pass away Monday,
Yeah,
and I
cancer. I didn't
always
know he had cancer.
yeah, and I was scared. And when as a kid, I was scared of him, like legitimately.
Really?
Yeah,
I wasn't
because
scared of